Here we've got a rear hub from a early Silver Spirit. It's a car with ABS. It's got the ABS sensor there. As you can see, it's damaged. What we're going to show in this video is how you go about splitting the hub, removing the drive shaft flange. So the drive shaft, the bolt that holds on the drive shaft flange, and the flange itself, because the flange is a taper fit onto the stub axle. So it's very hard to get that off without the proper tool, which we have. So this is the nut and this is the flange itself. So here's the hub in full glory. That's how it's bolted on the car. It's fixed to the car with these two threaded areas there and there. So these here and here, this is where it's held onto the trailing arm in these 4 points here, and these two is for the rear caliper. We're going to show you how you go about removing the flange. So we're going to start by removing this nut. So this is an 1 1/16 socket, a heavy duty bar, and then a long pole. There's the nut off, and you can see what you're left with is this exposed stub axle here, which the flange is held onto with a taper and a woodruff key. So it's on very tight. So the next stage is to bolt on the puller onto the flange, and then we wind the tool down, and it's got a hydraulic ram in the tool, which we're going to use to push down onto the stub axle and lift off the flange. So we've got the first part of the tool on there. I'm just going to put the nut back on, because when this flange comes off, they can be very tight and they can come off with a lot of force. So the nut will stop it from flying up too high. So we'll just put that on loose so it's got room to lift up, but it can't go up into the air. This is a good adapter to sit. There's a centre in the end of the stub axle, and that adapter there can sit nicely on that. What I mean by the ram that goes in here, so this is a hydraulic ram. That ram there will screw into the tool, and then you wind it down, and it hydraulically forces it through, and I'll show you that now. I'm just going to put the centre of the tool on. This is the bit that actually houses the ram. So this can go all the way down. That's far enough down. And then with the end on, we can screw in the ram. Screw in that and going all the way. That's bottomed out now. So now what we're going to do is tighten up the main body of the ram as far as we can. Now that we've tightened this ram, this should be pushing that stub axle away from the flange. So the flange is held with this body and the ram is pushing on the stub axle. As soon as we start to wind down this top here, then it should start acting hydraulically onto the stub axle. So now that we're cranking this hydraulic part of the ram down, there'll be quite a lot of pressure, and I can feel it's just got loose. And I think that has gone. There you go. It's just, you can tell it's just got very easy, and that flange should now, if we just wind it a little bit more, we've got the nut on it, so it's not going to come off completely, but we'll take the tool off, take the nut off. Now that went very easily. Often they take an awful lot more. And with any luck, this will lift off now. It might need a little bit of help still. Okay. And there it is. So there's the flange. And as you can see, it's keyed. It's got a keyway in there. And it's a taper on this stub axle there. And that one came off nice and easily. We'll see you on the next one.